everyone, it's Kara here from Boho Berry, and today I have another review video for you. I was going to have my Plan With Me video for October up for you today, and then I realized I wasn't quite ready to film that. I have a few things that I'm going to be changing up and adding in, and I wanted to kind of take the weekend to kind of solidify my ideas, if that makes sense, for October. So that'll be coming out on Monday. So I kind of swapped some things around. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Rhodia Goalbook, which is Rhodia's new notebook. And I've always been a fan of Rhodia and their paper. And the only complaint I had about the Rhodia web notebook, which was their previous offering, which they still have, was that it didn't have numbered pages or a place for an index. So for bullet journaling purposes, I just felt like it was a little bit extra work, and that's why I always stuck with the Leuchtturm. So I was pretty excited when I saw that they came out with this notebook, and even more excited when Goulet Pens reached out to me and asked if I would like to do a review. So they sent this to me for free for review, and I'm excited to dive in and show you all of the different aspects of this notebook and why I think it's great for bullet journaling. So let's get started. All right, so let's first talk about the technical specs. So what you get is obviously a hardbound notebook. This is a soft cover, and the cover itself is actually a leatherette, so a faux leather. So it's really, really smooth to the touch. It feels great, inside it has dot grid, obviously a bonus, and it also has an index, it has numbered pages, and it has perpetual calendars inside. All right, in addition to all those features, and what I think makes it great is obviously the numbered pages, which is fabulous. It also has a pocket in the back, and they actually have 2 bookmarks now. So previously the Rhodia notebooks came with 1 bookmark, now they have 2. All right, and as far as other technical aspects here, the size of this notebook is A5, so it's 5.8 by 8.3 inches for those in the US, and it has 120 dot grid numbered sheets. One sheet is 2 pages, FYI, front and back is 2 pages. It has 2 perpetual calendars, 2 ribbon bookmarks, expandable inner pocket, and then it has the 90 GSM ivory brushed vellum paper by Clairefontaine. And I've always been a fan of this Clairefontaine paper. The only caveat to that I have is that the paper itself is that ivory color. I do wish, maybe they'll hear me one of these days, I do wish that the paper was a little bit whiter, a little bit more of a bright white. So just to compare, let me show you compared to a Leuchtturm. This is my old NaNoWriMo bullet journal that I'm going to be using again this year. So I'm going to open it up, and you know the Leuchtturm pages are pretty creamy in color as well. And I hope that the camera is picking this up, but you can see how much darker the Rhodia Clairefontaine paper is than the Leuchtturm paper. Another notable difference is the dot grid itself. So on the Leuchtturm, the dots are a lot smaller. They almost disappear into the page as you write, whereas with the Rhodia, the dots are a little bit larger. So they're kind of a little more in your face. You can really see that they're there. That could be a pro or a con, depending on how you want to look at it. If the Leuchtturm dots are hard for you to see and you'd like something a little more prominent, this may be great for you. But if you prefer the dots to blend into the page a little bit more, may not be quite your thing. Now, of course, the Rhodia paper has its advantages as well. The main one being that it is highly fountain pen friendly. And I will be doing a pen test for you here in just a few minutes once I cover everything else in the notebook. All right, so at the front of the notebook, they have a few additions. So instead of just jumping straight into dot grid paper like their other notebooks, you have, of course, the welcome page here, or you could write in like, if lost, please return to, whatever you want there. And then it actually has 6 pages for a table of contents or index. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're one of those people that is constantly worrying about running out of room in your index for your bullet journal, this may be a great option for you. After that, they have a perpetual year-long calendar. So these are undated, has 6 columns per spread, so 6 months per spread, and 1 line per day of the year. This could be great for tracking birthdays, holidays, whatever it may be. And what's awesome is that it's undated. So you can actually start using this notebook anytime. So we have January through June and July through December. And then after that, they have basically already set up a future log for you. So you have each page is divided into 3 sections for 3 separate months. So you have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So maybe this is where you could write more of your upcoming events and future appointments and things like that. So after those perpetual calendars, which is what they are calling them, you start in with your dot grid pages. And it's numbered page number 1 all the way to page 224. So you have 224 usable pages in here versus a Leuchtturm, I want to say, is 249. But then keep in mind that the Leuchtturm does not have pre-laid out perpetual calendars for you. So factor that into your page numbers. And one last thing I want to talk about, I'm actually going to remove this here so that I can show you a little bit better. One last thing I want to talk about before we get into a pen test is the soft cover. And originally I thought, I really don't know. I don't know how I feel about a soft cover notebook. But I know a lot of you are doing kind of like what I did, where you put your notebook into your traveler's notebook cover. And I just want to say, I think this is a great option of having that soft cover in your TN. I think it makes everything a little bit lighter. The notebook is not quite as heavy as a regular A5 because of the soft cover. And I think it would work really, really nicely in a TN. So if that's something you're considering, this might be great for you. And I do just really love the feel of this cover. All right, so moving on to the pen test, which I know is what everybody is waiting for. And I'm just gonna do it right here on this very last page. All right, so I'm gonna start with my typical pens, which of course is going to be my Tombow mono drawing pen. I've got my everyday TWSBI fountain pen. And I have a few other fountain pens to test for you. Some are some pretty wet writers, so we'll see how those fare. And then I also want to do a few of the Tombow dual brush pens, so we'll do some of those as well. All right, so let's just start with a pen test. This is the Tombow mono drawing pen in 03. Ooh, you know what I just realized? Is that writing on these back pages, because it is a soft cover, the whole thing kind of bends in. So if that's going to drive you nuts, that might be something to consider as well. But I'm just going to solve this really quickly by putting another notebook underneath this side. There. So now I have a solid writing surface. All right, so we've got Tombow. One thing that I love about Rhodia or Clairefontaine paper is how smooth it is. Like, it just feels like your pen is gliding over the page. Now, that being said, it is like a coated vellum, I think is what they call the paper, and it does take a little bit longer for things to dry due to that coating. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, after that, I'm going to use my, I want to use my black. So this is a TWSBI Diamond 580. This is my Christmas green. It's a limited edition, so sorry if you can't find it. But I believe this is a fine nib with Noodler's black. Yeah, I just love how smooth everything feels on this paper. And one thing as well is I used to test my fountain pens in cursive, but I realized, like, when I write in cursive, the ink flow tends to be a little bit lighter, but when I write in my regular capital print handwriting, the ink flow is a lot heavier typically. So now when I'm testing my fountain pens, I test it in my all caps handwriting because I know that more ink is going onto the page and I'll get a better feel for how that paper is going to handle the ink. All right, so I got a couple more TWSBIs here. As you can tell, I'm kind of a TWSBI fan. This is a medium nib. Oh, it's so smooth. This is a TWSBI Eco. Turquoise. Oh, it's so smooth. And this is a medium nib. And the ink is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. All right, man, that is super smooth. All right, I have another TWSBI. These just happen to be what I have inked up at the moment, y'all, so sorry about being a little partial to the TWSBIs at the moment, but this is a TWSBI Vac Mini with another medium nib. Oh, feels so good. Medium. And this is Noodler's Apache Sunset. Okay. And then my final test, which is, this is going to be the true test. This, sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. This is my Stipula Rainbow 88. And this actually has a T-Flex or a titanium flex nib. So it's going to drop a lot of ink onto the page. And I'm going to do it without flexing the nib first. I actually haven't written with this pen in about a week. So the ink is really dark in there. This is actually kind of like a teal ink. This is Schaefer Script Green. All right, so let's do some flexing. I can already tell this is feathering a little bit, which is kind of expected for a really wet writing fountain pen, even on this Rhodia paper. Oh, I can tell this pen needs some love. I'm getting some railroading there. Let's try that again. There we go. Now we're cooking with fire. And now the ink is lightening up a little bit too. You can really see that flex. All right. All right, so this is the test, y'all. I just want to see how each of these inks. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do the Tombow dual brush pens as well. Let me do that really quick. I'm just going to do a few different colors here. And you can really tell with Rhodia or Clairefontaine paper how it has that kind of coating on it, because your ink almost, especially with these Tombow dual brush pens, the ink almost beads up on the page a little bit before it dries, which I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but all right. So let's take a look at the other side of the page and see how we did. Actually, first, I want to give you kind of a close-up if it will focus. I hope it will. But just so that you can see how well each of the fountain pens did, the only one that had some feathering was the Stipula Rainbow. And that's just because it dumps so much ink onto the page. All right, and then let's check out the other side, shall we? All right, so we definitely had some ghosting. And ghosting is something that doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, that might be something you want to think about. Even on the Tombow mono drawing pen, there was still quite a bit of ghosting. I had a little bit of bleed through on my TWSBI Eco, and then definitely some bleed through from the Stipula Flex pen. And then the Tombow dual brush pens didn't bleed through, but there is some ghosting there. So I think that for the most part, it's pretty comparable to the other A5 notebooks out there for bullet journaling. I think it's a little bit better with fountain pens, which is great. So if that's something that's important to you, I would definitely consider this notebook. And that is it, y'all. Overall, I think this is a great notebook for bullet journaling. I love that it has all of the perpetual calendar and the future log already set up for you. I love that it has a longer index for those of you that like to index a little bit more. I probably wouldn't use all 6 pages, but I know there's a lot of people out there that would. And then of course it has the extra bookmarks. You have 2 bookmarks. It has numbered pages, which is fabulous. And the paper is super fountain pen friendly. All right, y'all, I want to say thank you again to Goulet Pens for sending this notebook my way for review. I hope that you found the review helpful, and I'll have a link down below where you can purchase one for yourself if you're interested. And one last thing before I let y'all go is the Tombow dual brush pens, the Pastel and Galaxy sets. I mentioned earlier this week that I was going to do a giveaway here on YouTube for these 2 sets since I already have the 96 pen set. So I am so happy to say that Claudia Suarez and Jacqueline Becker are the 2 winners of these sets. And fortunately, even though I randomly picked these, one of you chose Pastel, I think that was Claudia, and Jacqueline, you chose Galaxy. So these are the ones that you're going to be getting. I just need each of you to reach out to me via private message here on YouTube so I can get all your contact details and get these in the mail to you as soon as possible. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, comments, leave those in the comment section below this video, and I will be happy to join in the conversation down there. See you next week. Bye.